Hello everyone. Today we're taking a trip into the history of something that affects almost every American every single day. The US Interstate Highway System. It's one of the most important yet often overlooked projects in American history. It changed how we travel, how we live, how we do business, and even how we eat. But how did it start? Why was it built? And what are the consequences that most people never talk about? To really understand the interstate system, we have to go back, way back to 1919. The US had just come out of World War I, and the car was still a relatively new invention. Roads across the country were inconsistent, at best, some paved, many not. There were almost no road signs, no lane markings, and absolutely no idea of a national highway network. That summer, a young Army officer signed up for something called the US Army Transcontinental Motor Convoy. It was an ambitious experiment. Could the military actually move trucks, equipment, and personnel from the East Coast to the West Coast by road? Could they drive across America without relying on railroads? On July 7, 1919, a convoy of 80 military vehicles rolled out of Washington, D.C., which lies on the East Coast, bound for San Francisco all the way on the West Coast. That young Army officer, there as an observer, would soon see the trip turn into a grueling endurance test. Over 62 days and 11 states, the roads threw every imaginable challenge at them. Some were so muddy that vehicles sank and had to be pulled out by teams of horses. Others were so rough that bridges collapsed under the weight of the trucks. Equipment broke down constantly. In some stretches, the convoy had to build its own temporary roads and bridges just to keep moving. And what was their average speed, you might ask? About 6 miles per hour. And by the time they reached San Francisco, the Army had learned two hard truths. First, that the US road system was utterly inadequate for national defense. And second, that in a crisis, America simply could not move troops and supplies quickly enough to respond. That young officer never forgot about it. Fast forward a few decades, the same man was now President of the United States, leading the country through the tense years of the Cold War. Memories of that disastrous 1919 journey still lingered, and now they carried new weight. He had also seen firsthand the remarkable efficiency of Germany's Autobahn system during World War II, how it allowed rapid movement of military forces and supplies. He realized that if America came under direct threat, especially from nuclear weapons, a poor road network could be a fatal weakness. And this officer that I've been talking about all this time was Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Dwight D. Eisenhower, do solemnly swear.
I, Dwight D. Eisenhower, do solemnly swear
That you will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States.
And in 1956, he signed the Federal Aid Highway Act, authorizing the creation of a vast network of highways that would span the entire country.
Congress responded with the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, providing the staggering sum of $51 billion to be spent by the states on highway construction by 1971.
The idea was simple: build a national grid of highway speed roads to boost economic growth, connect communities, and strengthen national defense. In fact, the official name of the network is the Dwight D. Eisenhower National System of Interstate and Defense Highways. And yes, that defense part is very intentional. The system was designed not just for commuters and cargo, but also for the military. 1 mile out of every 5 is supposed to be straight enough to serve as an emergency landing strip for aircraft. Over the following decades, the US built more than 48,000 miles of the interstate highway, enough to circle the globe almost twice. The layout was pretty logical. Even-numbered interstates run east to west, with lower numbers in the south and higher numbers in the north. Odd-numbered interstates run north to south, with lower numbers in the west and higher numbers in the east. I-10 stretches from California to Florida, while I-95 connects Miami to Maine, passing through 15 states. The interstate system transformed America. Goods moved faster than ever before, transportation costs dropped. Rural areas gained access to urban markets. The suburbs exploded in size, as people could live farther from where they worked. Entire industries like logistics, tourism, and yes, fast food saw unprecedented growth. Chains like McDonald's, Wendy's, and Taco Bell strategically built locations near highway exits to catch a steady stream of travelers. Even the now classic drive-through window became a symbol of the roadside American experience. But the system also had a darker side. In many cities, highways cut through low-income neighborhoods, often displacing families and dividing communities, especially Black and Latino ones. Today, some cities are working to undo that damage through freeway removal projects that replace roads with parks, transit, or new developments. Today, the interstate system faces a new crossroad. Electric vehicles, smart road technology, and climate concerns are pushing the need for modernization. The 2021 infrastructure bill set aside billions to upgrade highways, improve safety, and reconnect communities divided decades ago. So the next time you're on I-70 through the Rockies, stuck on I-405 in LA, or cruising I-95 past the East Coast skyline, remember, you're on a system that reshaped America in every way possible, and it all began when a young army officer spent 2 months stuck in the mud in 1919. So that's it for this episode on the US Interstate System. Thanks for joining me on this ride through history, and until next time, stay curious.